So this is going to be an interesting one, guys. I never. So I mostly just play video games, right? Um, but you can see what I have on the screen here. Bob Butler. So I'm gonna, just in case you can't read this yourself, I'm gonna read it to you. I'll be honest, boys. I lean harder to the savage than I do the gentleman. I get that. We'll get there in a second. That said, I'm ill equipped to deal with this month. I had to put my dog down 3 weeks ago. I handled it myself, which was hard to do, but the rigid thing, I'm not sure what he meant by that. 2 weeks ago, the Texas Rangers let me know that a former friend was grooming my 12-year-old daughter and sharing photos of her on a disgusting pervert dark website. I have been in a mental wreck trying to keep my oath to my family but also stay out of prison, so I am here for them. Now, yesterday, my wife of 20 years says that she wants a divorce. He meant to say I am, but he wrote, anyways, I'll read what it's supposed to say. I am fucking failing here. Pretty sure I had an anxiety attack for the first time last night. I'm pushing and trying to keep working and keep my mind busy. It ain't working, gents. I'm sitting in the truck and I'm an absolute mess right now. I can't keep on like this. None of us could keep on like that from a month like that, brother. So, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this post down, bit by bit. We'll talk about it piece by piece. And then I'm just going to give you some earnest advice. Sorry for the glare coming through the window, guys, back there. I'm sorry about that. I could have hung a curtain up or a blanket, but we just moved here, and so I don't give a shit. Okay. I'll be honest, boys, I lean harder to the savage than I do the gentleman. Me too. I've always been that way. I'm not a very nice person. I never have been, and it's been a struggle because I haven't been a nice person my whole life. It keeps getting me in trouble, right? Because I've been mean or a savage or a jerk or whatever you want to call it, because I let loose. I've been to jail way more times than I needed to, right? For stupid things, because I let my temper get the best of me. That said, I'm ill-equipped to deal with this month. Now that's a fair, if you got this much going on in your life, that's a fair statement. And just to share the fact that you're ill-equipped means you're not ill-equipped. If you recognize that you are ill-equipped, that means you have all the tools necessary to realize that you need to back way the heck off. And I know you can't just do that from your family. We'll get into that more later. But the point is, you're ill-equipped, and that's a good thing. That is a very good thing, okay? That's being honest with oneself. 2 weeks ago, the Texas Rangers let me know that a former friend was grooming my 12-year-old daughter and sharing photos of her on a disgusting, pervert, dark website. I've been a mental wreck trying to keep my oath to my family, but also stay out of prison, so I'm here for them. Now, this is a hard one. This is a hard one because it doesn't matter. Father, husband, cousin of a female, nephew, uncle, right? When somebody does wrong to your kin, and in this case, maybe sexually does some wrong things to your kin, as a man, it makes you unhinged upstairs. It makes you want to do very violent things. And it even happens to men who aren't capable of this violence, right? So, I know a fella, he's very thin. He's only about 130 pounds. He couldn't beat another man if he wanted to. And something very similar happened to him, and he thought he was going to fly off the handle and go just beat the heck out of this dude. And I was like, man, you're 120 pounds soaking wet. He will beat you to death. I'm not saying that's the case here, right? What I'm saying is, and I hate it. I hate the way the system works. Uh, but as men, we have to keep our anger in check because our anger is our undoing, and you need to understand that. Somebody like me, and probably somebody like you, if you tend to lean more savage, no man will ever defeat me. I've been to war numerous times. I know this. I am my own worst enemy, and my anger is my own worst enemy. I defeat myself. Nobody else defeats me. I won't allow it, right? So keep that anger in check. And that comes from somebody who suffers from wrath a great deal. You know, the Bible talks about wrath being one of the 7 deadly sins, and it will kill you. If you let your anger get out of check and you go do something crazy, somebody could shoot you right in the face. And your anger has killed you. It is definitely a deadly sin, and that's what it means to be a man, especially or a more mature man, is learning how to keep your anger in check. However, obviously the situation needs to be dealt with, and there are avenues, proper channels, ways to get that done, but it's not going to be pleasing to you. Like you're going to think that justice needs to be served sooner, and I'm on your side with that, right? Just make sure you don't put yourself in a situation that you cannot recover from, right? Don't go beat the heck out of somebody, although warranted, and I would support you. And if we lived life, 300 years ago, you could get away with that, but nowadays you just can't, and it's sad. And I've seen in Texas that they just beat the heck out of child molesters down there, and like the cops don't even care. However, there are proper avenues for that, and I hope you choose a proper avenue and keep that anger in check. It's hard. I know it's hard. It's so hard to control yourself when something like this is going on. All right. On to the third point. Now, yesterday, my wife of 20 years says she wants a divorce. Oh no. 20 years is a long time. So I haven't been... Okay, let me correct that. I haven't been married to the same person for 20 years. My first marriage was 8.5 years, and my current marriage is 11 and some change. So I've been married for about that amount of time, just to 2 separate women. My first wife, she didn't tell me that she wanted to divorce me. I told her I wanted to divorce her. However, I know what this is like. And, if and when it's time, if and when somebody wants to leave you, you absolutely just have to let them. If you try and keep them around, if you try and force them to stay, it just gets worse. Instead of things being upfronted and communicating or communicated well, they just get hidden, right? So if somebody wants to let go, you have to let them let go. And before I divorced my current ex-wife, we did this about halfway through our marriage. She said, "Hey, I don't want to be with you anymore." And I said, "All right, there's the door. Sorry." But at the time, I had a very good career, and I was making very good money, and I was young and still handsome and attractive, and I knew that if she went, that it wouldn't be a problem. Hence how I got the second wife, right? But she left, and then 6 months later, she came crawling back. So for her, she learned that I was the best outcome for her. Unfortunately, just a few short years later, I had to tell her that I no longer was vested. But, sometimes when you give people their space, they come back. And if they come back, then it's meant to be, right? But You can't force somebody to stay. And I know that sucks, and I know that's hard. And I get it. And we're gonna get into that in a minute. So let's go to the bottom of the post here. I am fucking failing here. No, you're not. Pretty sure I had an anxiety attack for the first time last night. Yep, I've had those. They suck. You feel like you're dying. I'm pushing and trying to keep working and keep my mind busy. It ain't working out, gents. I'm sitting in the truck an absolute mess right now, and I can't keep on like this. I would be an absolute fucking mess too. Not about the dog, like, you know, because I grew up on a pig farm, and then I've lived around ranchers my whole life, and, you know, I've just lived in rural America. I've had to put down many a dog, personally, you know. So that doesn't make me emotional. However, I can understand if you have never done that before, or maybe you don't regularly do it, and that was your long-time pet. I understand how that can bother you. I get it. And then, of course, the thing with the daughter, right? I would be enraged. I would literally, my wife would have to lock me in the basement. I can't do something like that. She knows I can't do something like that. I don't know how you're handling that, but like I said, if you can just keep that anger in check, and I know it's hard, that's going to be your saving grace there, and then use the official avenues. I would also struggle in that area. Like I said, my wife would have to lock me in the basement because I would want to eat somebody's face off, and I would, right? And so then I'd be the one in prison. And then the divorce thing. So yeah, I get it. I would be a complete wreck also. However, all of that being said, see, people are messaging me on Facebook right now. That being said, there's something that us men don't talk about that I think needs to be shared. And I need you to know, before I say this, that I am not picking on you and I am not being insensitive. This is just factual. Life is hard. And we forget. We get comfortable. We have the good job with the good money coming in. You know, we get married. We get our house paid off. You know, we get that car, or we get the car paid off, right? Like where I'm sitting right now, I'm retired. My house is paid off. My income is set for the rest of my life. You know, I have investments plus retirement income. I'm very comfortable right now. And I regularly forget that life is hard. And I grew up in a generation where we didn't see much hardship. You know, I got a little bit of gray hairs coming in, right? So I've got some age on me. I seen the 80s, you know, I seen things a bit rough. But I forget regularly that life is hard. And I was actually talking with my oldest son about this yesterday, and this is the whole reason I'm doing this video. I had to explain to my oldest son because he is the type that has to learn things the hard way. And I get on to him about it constantly. But you can't parent yourself out of your children, right? So herein lies the problem. I also had to learn everything the hard way. And so when I was growing up, life was harder for me than it should have been. Because I wouldn't learn the easy way. I wouldn't look at other people's mistakes and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that, because look at what it got them. No, I had to repeat the same mistake myself. And, you know, I'm honest with my sons, and I'll be honest with you. Life is hard. It always has been, okay? There are people out there that are homeless, starving. You know, it's about to get into winter, so they're going to be freezing cold with no electricity, no heat, no gas. If we're being honest, we are the exception here in the U.S. We are. So I was a sailor for 20 years, and I sailed the world, so I've seen things that other Americans have not. I've been to Africa. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to South America. I've seen these, I've been to Asia. I've seen these third world countries where people have it really bad. And for them, hard is the normal, right? They're just so used to everything being hard because it's like that every day. And I don't say this to you because I'm being insensitive. I do sympathize with your situation. In fact, I said I don't know that I could handle that either. But what we forget as men is that it is our job that no matter how hard it gets, we remain the cornerstone, the solid, the foundation. And things get hard sometimes. When I was a younger adult male, when I was in my 20s, I struggled to pay my bills and I struggled to feed my children. Life was hard back then. And it's still hard today. It's just a different level of hard. And I don't want to tell you to stop whining. That's not what I mean. That's not at all what I mean. What I mean is, it is our job to figure out the most intelligent way to deal with all the problems around us and not gripe about it. And I know that sucks, but that's our lot in life as men. That's what it means to be a man. And if you need help, you can absolutely private message me and I will be there for you. I'll even call you. Like if you need somebody to just call you and talk to you, I'll do that. But at the end of the day, even after my talk is done with you, you're still gonna have to deal with all these things. You can't run. And then in the case with the thing with your daughter, you certainly can be mean. I would not recommend it, because that's a one-way ticket, and I think you know that already. So you've got to find other ways to deal with this stuff. Because we are men, we don't get to run. Because we are men, we have to stay and fight and do it the right way. And I know that sucks, brother. I know that sucks. And I wish I had a different answer for you, but I don't. So instead, I hope the guys in the comments section, I haven't even read through the comments section. Let's see what people, I hope they've supported you properly. Oh, I lost your post. Now I'm going to go find it again. There it is. I hope they've been supportive. Let's see if they've been supportive. It's not the time to quit or even feel bad. Save that for later. It's time, like it or not, to get back to work. See, I mean, like this fella's just saying the same thing that I would have said. And this is actually really great advice. Been through similar circumstances. My pastor. Oh, that's another thing. You can always seek, whether you're religious or not, you can always seek counseling, right? My preferred method for counseling is like this guy, religious counseling, and they have much more freedom than an actual, like therapist. But there's nothing wrong with going to see a therapist, especially if you're struggling with anger. I had to, for many years, go see a therapist, right? Let's see what else we got. I see nowhere that says you failed. I agree, you haven't failed. Life happens, right? Despite all of the measures and checks that we put in place to try to protect ourselves and our family from the enemy still exists, and they'll fucking sneak up on you, right? Shit happens. Life happens. You can't plan for all this. Just because things have happened to you does not mean you have failed. You have to understand that. It just means that, there's some repositioning required, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Jesus is the answer. There again. I am not gonna harp religion on you, but that is also a good answer. You might want to investigate that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, absolutely seek counseling. Start therapy. There again, I don't know if you need to start therapy. Like I said, if the anger becomes too much, then absolutely. Yeah, so I'm just digging through their comments here. Looks like looks like the guys are actually giving you good advice, so that's great. In any event, um, yeah, I tend to be one of those savages myself. I tend to let my anger control me. But anyways, bud, obviously everybody's here to give you decent advice. I'm here. I'll even, if you private message me, I'll even give you my phone number and we could just talk. Like, I own a ranch down in Texas. I'm in Nebraska right now, but I can easily go down to Texas. It takes me like, what, 14 hours or whatever? You know. So if you need somebody to just talk to, or God forbid, if you need me to come down there, reach out, man. Everybody's here. Just understand that us men, we don't get to run. We don't get to hide. We have to deal with our problems. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, but I hope it helped you out. I've never done a video for one specific person, so I don't know how I feel about this. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'll check you guys later. Oh, wait. Also, because I happen to be a content creator, if you follow me on Twitch or you subscribe on YouTube, I would highly appreciate that. But it's not required. That's not why I did this. All right, thanks, guys.